Hello Art House students. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a beautiful white rose. Now this piece is going to be a sculpture and it's going to be for Mother's Day. So what you're going to do after this is bake it and then you can wrap it up and give it to your mom for Mother's Day. Now how we're going to start this off is we're going to start with an armature. Anytime we do a sculpture, we always want to start with an armature because it gives the piece more stability and it helps save clay. So another reason why we like to use it is because if you put this clay through all of here, it would be way too thick and it would not bake inside. It would only bake on the outside. And what would happen is it eventually would crack. So we like to compare an armature to the bones and the skeletons within our body. It keeps our body strength and stability. And then the clay is like this skin on the outside of our body. So how you're going to do your armature, and we're just going to do an armature for this stem part. So this is a small stem, just like this one. How you're going to do it is you're going to take a small piece of foil. Now this is a piece of foil. I ripped it into about 4 different parts from the foil that we have here. Now this is a whole sheet of foil. It's a big sheet. I ripped it into 4s. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll it up and they make kind of a snake shape. So you can roll it in your hands, you can roll it on the table. Oh, speaking of table, you want to make sure you have something down. I have a piece of paper because when you do your clay, you don't want to get your clay onto your table. You want to keep it nice and protected. So I think this is a little too long. If I compare it to this stem, it's too long. So one thing you can do is you can fold it over and that just makes it shorter. And you can just smush it in to make it a little skinnier. Okay, so I have my stem armature. What you're going to do now is put your stem aside, grab your ball of clay, and remember this clay is called Sculpey, and how you prepare it is you smush it in your hands to get it nice and warm. When you get it, it'll be a little bit hard and you want to get it nice and warm. Now if you're having a hard time getting it smushed, you can stand up and push your body weight into the table, and you can also ask for an adult to help you. So I like to smush it down kind of into a snake shape so it's easy to pull off little pieces. So I'm going to pull off a little piece from the end about this big. Smush it out into what we call a pancake. So it's a thin piece of clay, kind of a circle shape that I've smushed out because you want this to be very, very thin on the armature. Put it on the armature, and I think I made mine big enough where it will cover the whole thing. Sometimes you don't make it big enough to cover, and that's okay. You just have to get another piece of clay. And then I can make it round by rolling it. All right, so I have my stem armature created. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add the bud. So the bud is going to be the center of the flower, this little area right here. What you're going to do is pull off another piece, and instead of making a round shape with the clay, we're going to try to make kind of a rectangular shape, so a long skinny shape for our bud, kind of like this, and it's nice and thin. Okay, so what you'll do is you're going to roll it kind of like you're rolling a burrito. It looks like a burrito shape. You're gonna roll it up and you get that center. Now you have to be careful because you don't want to pinch this together. You want it to be nice and round, and you even want to open it up a little. So I kind of use my fingers to open it up slightly, but this bottom part can be pinched together because we don't need that to look nice. Now you're going to attach it to your stem. So I just kind of push mine on top, being careful not to smush the top part. And I smooth it with my fingers so it's nice and secure. Okay, so I have my bud attached to my stem. I'm going to put that aside. Now on your flower, you're going to have several different layers of petals. And if you notice, the petals near the bud are a little thinner, and then they slowly get bigger and bigger when you go out. So you want to make sure that you start with small ones and then you go to larger ones. So So I've already made up all of mine. Now this is an example of a small one. This is kind of a bigger one, medium sized. A little bit larger. And a little bit larger. So you're gonna have about 4 layers. Sometimes you don't need that many, but you really don't wanna go over 5 because it'll get too thick. So I'm gonna start with a thin one, small, skinny. And they are all thin. You don't want them to be super thick. I'm gonna layer that on there. And you wanna kind of open it up a little. I have another one. Now you'll notice these are not perfectly round. Most flowers do not have perfectly round petals, especially a rose, so they can be a little misshapen. They're going to be a little pointier in areas. This one is a little round here, but that's okay. You can have round areas and pointier areas. And I'm smoothing these down just like I did the bud, so they don't fall off. Okay, so that's my small area. Now I'm going to go to my little bit bigger petals, my medium sized. Wrapping these around, smoothing it down as I'm going. Do another one. And you don't want to stack up the same size in the same spot. You want to move to the next area that's open and adding that one in. Okay, one more medium. And I'm not smushing these all together. I'm opening up the bud. Opening up the flower. Well, you notice I'm kind of smoothing these back down because it is getting a little thick here. So I'm really smoothing it back into the stem. Okay, so I'm gonna go up another size. Smoothing. Okay, I'm gonna go up one more size. It's not quite as big as I want it. So this is my last layer of petals. But you don't want it too thick. You see, I kind of have a big one here, and then I need to put some over here because it'll be more balanced. And one more over here. I don't think this one is quite big enough. Let me see if I can pinch this one out. Put it about right here. And then I think I'll actually need a 4th one. Maybe about right there. Okay, so once you get to this point, when you have most of your flower completed, what you can do is you can start changing up the petals a little. So on this one, if you look at it, some of the petals I rolled in a little. I rolled it in because they're not gonna all be straight. Some of them are gonna roll in, some are gonna roll out more. See another example, this one was rolled in right here. So I'm going to maybe roll this outside one in. Put this one out more, curve them in different directions. Maybe I want this one to be a little pointier. This one to be a little pointier too. All right, so if it gets really thick down here, one thing you can do is just smooth it back even more. But remember, you do have an armature in here, so it's okay if it looks a little thicker. You do have an armature in there that has the foil. Okay, great. So this will lay down while you're baking it, so you want to make sure you choose what side you want it to lay down on. And this one looks like a good one. It was already kind of flattened anyways. Okay. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to bake this on 275 for 20 minutes. And you wanna make sure you watch it really carefully because these little tips of the petals can burn easily. So if you see that it's starting to get brown, you wanna take it out. Now if that happens, it's okay, you can just paint it with white paint so it'll stay white. You can just cover it up. All right, have a great day, guys.